A teenage jockey was killed last weekend after a fall in a hurdle race in South Australia. It was just the latest tragedy in a sport that critics claim is one of the most dangerous in the world. So far this year, 12 horses have died in steeplechase and other jump race accidents. Now, as Greg Hoy reports, animal protection groups want the sport banned.
You know, if you go in through that stable and look how well cared for they are and have a look at the horses' attitudes when they're jumping the fences, you soon sort of see what lifestyle they prefer.
From before daylight till after dark, the jumpers are primed and pampered like prized athletes, but nothing can prepare them for the risks that they will face come daylight out on the track.
On the outside, oh, there's a fall. One's lost his footing to the rails.
At breakneck speed, there is a good chance these horses will not make it through the steeplechase. One reason the RSPCA says this race must stop.
1 in 8 starters in a steeplechase race ends up either dead or seriously injuring itself. Steeplechasing ought to be abandoned as an official race type in Australia.
Simple, but try telling that to the old racing fraternity. Trainer Colin Hayes.
I think that's ridiculous. I mean, if you went to England, the Queen Mother and the Queen race jumpers.
All right, come on!
It's true that the steeplechase is alive and flourishing in England, where it enjoys the royal approval. There, the jumps are even higher. But as the film The Champions depicts, so are the casualties. But the sport's proud old history protects it from critics like the National Director of the RSPCA in Australia, Dr. Hugh Worth.
The reason it remains a strong tradition in Victoria is because of the hunt clubs. These are the fox hunting clubs which have in fact grown over the last decade, and they supply the support base for steeplechasing and hurdling.
And it's not always the horse that gets hurt. This spectacle at the Great Eastern Steeplechase at Oakbank shocked television audiences around the world. There's been many others. Last winter, jockey Jamie Evans was badly injured when his mount, Georgie's Son, faltered at a jump.
Here's the last French. Georgie's Son crashed, or the jockey crashed.
But a year later, Jamie Evans is back in the saddle for the Grand National as the leading jumps jockey and an aggressive defender of his sport.
You've got to understand that this is sport at its highest level, and there are going to be statistics. I mean, the last thing we want to see is a horse injured, especially from, you know, a rider's point of view.
You know, there's one in 8 chance of that horse ending up dead.
Have you ever rode over jumps here, or have you
injured.
ever trained thoroughbreds?
No.
You haven't?
No.
Well, you know, it's very strong comments for someone who's never had anything to do with the industry. I mean,
And on it goes. But there are other reasons why the authorities have not abolished jump racing.
One of the strongest arguments you'll hear from supporters of the steeplechase is that the fatalities or injury rates for their horses might be bad, but the mainstream thoroughbred racing industry is much worse.
I've been involved in 3 statistics where horses have been killed. 2 of them have been on the flat. One of them's been over jumps, you know. As I said to you, it's sport at its highest level. Of course there's going to be casualties.
And indeed there are. But a jumps horse has 20 times the chance of dying on the job.
The RSPCA is not pressing to abandon racing.
No, well,
at all.
You know,
We've never said such a thing. But there are a few
So why
problems
are
with
you
it.
pressing to abandon steeplechasing?
Because the horse is not given a chance.
And away they go to a great start in the Grand National for 1992.
But enough. It's time to mount up. For now, it's on with the show in the Grand National Steeple.
The 4th last jump in the National. Sir Sagamore's down. Sir Sagamore fell at that one.
Midway through the race, Jamie Evans and his horse take a tumble. Both survived reasonably uninjured, but not all the starters were so lucky.
And the next time, Zealand Grey and Teen Wolf. And where are the others? Are there any left? And the others have not completed the course.
Out of sight of the
Stand by for
cameras,
placings.
number 1, Georgie's Son, was taken away after a fall and quietly destroyed. There was no mention of him at the grand presentation.
I would like to thank on behalf of the winner, Jack Starry.
The people love it. and I think they just have to widen their vision a bit.
You cannot continue to justify a use of an animal where the accident and injury rate is so high.
In anything in life, no matter what you do, you always have opposition. Look, we love our horses. The last thing we want is for our horses to be hurt.
And now they'll have 4 ways down.
Greg Moy reporting.